Chairman, thank you very much, and thank you all for being here on what I think is certainly an important, but I think it's an exciting topic as well. Kansas is a place in which UAVs receive a significant amount of attention. We're involved in lots of research and testing and implementation. All three universities really, Wichita State University, Kansas State University, and Kansas University are all involved in this effort. We've formally appointed a state director of UAVs, former Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Bob Brock, and he has recently released a 5-year plan for drone adoption at the state level. Ms. Cooper, I appreciate you in your written testimony calling attention to the Precision Hawk work that's being done at Kansas State University. 2 weeks ago, I visited the UAS laboratory at Kansas Polytechnic, where I got to take a drone on a test flight myself. And a significant amount of dollars came through the Mississippi State-led Center for Excellence team on the topic of Precision Hawk that we're involved in and working on. I think Kansas is a state that has seen the value of that. We know that in addition to that kind of work, we see great potential for drone technology to be used in agriculture. Just this past weekend, we've had significant grassland fires in Kansas, thousands of acres, larger than some of the New England states have now burned, and unmanned aerial vehicles are being used to count the carcasses of dead cattle, the opportunity to review utility lines, poles and wires down, fencing, tens of thousands of miles. So there's a significant opportunity for us to use this technology. In regard to this line of flight issue, this ability to see, what's the latest? When you mentioned in your testimony, Ms. Cooper, or maybe this is a question for Mr. Lawrence, your testimony mentioned 3 phases. What kind of progress is being made, and what findings or conclusions are you drawing from the data collected?
Senator, thank you for your question. As I mentioned in my testimony, our company has been working with Kansas State University to conduct our Pathfinder research. We've conducted a couple of phases of the research already, and we're on to our 3rd phase right now. Some of the things that we've learned through our research efforts include the fact that you can fly safely in extended line of sight operations for about 2.5 nautical mile distance between the drone and the operator. Extended line of sight operations are operations where you don't necessarily see the drone itself, but you can see and scan the airspace that surrounds where the drone is located in order to avoid intruding manned aircraft. The next phase of the research that we're working on this year, which will help inform the rule for expanded operations, is focused on localized beyond line of sight operations. And some of our former research under the Pathfinder program suggested that there are variances among the human population in terms of being able to detect intruding manned aircraft and the decisions that they take when they notice manned aircraft. And so what we're trying to do is minimize those differences that we see across the population of pilots and non-pilots by using technologies like our Lattice system to mitigate the safety risks. Our Lattice system gives the operator real-time situational awareness of manned aircraft flying in the vicinity. So you'd receive something along the lines of an in-app notification with the location of manned aircraft flying close to where you're conducting your operations so that you can avoid any collision.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lawrence, anything to add to that?
I'll just say the 2 main challenges that they're addressing is really the challenge of separating aircraft in the air, making sure we don't have a collision there, and protecting people and property on the ground. And the advances in their project has enabled us to issue waivers now on a regular basis for operations over farm fields, as described, while we're protecting the other operators in there. That's over a 3,000% increase over the base 107 of the acreage covered. That's a huge advancement, and they've been a great partner.
Thank you. If we have a second round, I may ask about the ability to quickly get certified a drone for use in emergency and disaster recovery. Dr. Gonzalez, you mentioned something that caught my attention about, it causes me to wonder about enforcement. So when a drone is near your airport, who's responsible for making certain that person the operator is found, prosecuted, and does that happen?
Sir, we have a county ordinance that that addresses that. Unfortunately, at the county level, the most we can fine somebody is $500, and we would have to catch them in the act. So that makes it very difficult. What we've done is, when we issued this ordinance, we did a massive public relations and educational campaign in English and Spanish, so that people knew that this ordinance took effect, that there was a price to pay. But in my opinion, I don't think that goes enough.
Is there anyone beyond local enforcement that pursues these kind of cases?
Not that I know of, sir. And again, we have, to my knowledge, I don't think we've pursued one. It's on the books. We see spottings. We may send a police cruiser to a general area that there won't be anything there. But if I might add, sir, just real quick, you know, it's interesting because we all value, everybody at this table values the importance, the technology, the future, the capabilities of the UASs. I find myself in kind of a different situation here because although I understand that there are agricultural, there are energy-related reasons why we need to have this, at my airport, we don't need to have this. From a critical infrastructure perspective, my job right now, at least intellectually and operationally, is to look for ways to bring these down. Because if you lose an UAS over a cornfield or over a power line, that's an unfortunate cost of doing business. But if one of these things ends up getting in front of an aircraft, like happened not 2 months ago at my airport, the results are catastrophic. And I have to be very cognizant of the fact that I represent the interest of the traveling public. And when you talk about airports, seaports, you're not talking about a crop or a product, you're talking about people's lives. So we take this very, very seriously.
I think we all have the responsibility to, I don't mean to diminish what you
Yes,
just
sir.
said,
Yes, sir.
but we all have that responsibility. And
Yes, sir.
it's useful for you to remind us of that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.